Hello! I need to shrink you down a bit, actually. There we go. Hello, everyone! Yes, yes. This is,
Yeah.
I, don't play many fighting games at all. For the obvious reason of, I'm not good at them. And, you know. Well, that's the only reason. I'm
Yep.
not good at them.
I, on the other hand, love that.
The only fighting game I really like is Soul Calibur. It's really easy to get into and can be a lot of fun.
I will beat your ass.
You would not.
Yep. Do you have a copy of 6?
I don't think I do. I remember beating 5, though. Anyway, on to that
That's not
point.
hard.
I was okay with fighting games until, well, Mortal Kombat got annoying with some of its combos. I tried Injustice. It was okay. Not the greatest. A lot of the bigger, like, Japanese fighters just kind of fly over my head, and I could never figure out how to fully do the combos. I was okay at Persona 4 Arena. I say okay because we didn't do all that well. Anyway, we're going to head into this. I know there's a lot of videos you guys want us to get to. Trust me, we'll maybe get to them eventually. It's just taking time. And, well, like I said before, if you really, really want them to come out fast, then I fully suggest supporting us over on Twitch and supporting us over on, well, going to the Discord and showing me the exact videos you want. Join the community and become a pup croot. That feels so strange to finally say, but yes, I finally have a name for you guys, for my, well, subscribers, my followers, my community, the pup croots. It's the word pup and recruit put together. And yes, you will be getting a design eventually made by a friend of mine. What do you think of the name Pup Croots?
I think I stick with bites.
Is that... Oh, that's the name for yours?
Yep.
It actually works perfectly for you.
It's funny how, regardless of the level of
Thank you.
quality or technicality
Wait,
of a
is that
fighting game, there are
what
some
was that, Street
truths
Fight
that
Jam or
stand
whatever it's
strong,
called?
no matter what game you're playing.
Def Jam Fight for New
You're
York?
gonna be
Yeah.
hitting the opponent. You're gonna have a big, tough boss at the end, and
Yeah.
somehow Terry Bogard will be there.
Wait, what?
Truth that's present in every fighting
Indeed.
game with multiple
Oh, yeah,
playable
he's even in
characters,
Super
though,
Smash
is
Brothers.
that one of them has to be the best. By virtue
Yeah.
of how fighting games work,
Oh, yeah,
some
the Hollow Life
characters are
fighting
going to
game.
have tools that give them better
I forgot about
options,
that
or
one.
simply work with the game's mechanics better, and it gives them an edge that
It's
it's
just a
hard for the
sudden
rest of the
truck.
cast to get over. It's not enough
Yep.
to know that
Truck.
one character
Oh, yeah, the
PCV
frickin',
battle
constructor
is better
vehicle
than the rest. You want to know
fighting
why.
game.
I want to take a look at and see
Dude.
what are some of the strangest,
What the
silliest,
fuck?
and
What
funnest
is that?
characters in fighting games.
E-Man, I guess?
Before we get into this,
Oh, no,
you have
there's
to
King of-
understand
Know what to
that
put out
we're
in
not
the
going to
late
be
series.
hitting any of the major fighting game
Yeah,
franchises.
this is the King of Fighters.
Street
I remember that.
Fighter, Tekken,
King of
KOF,
Fighters.
Yeah, it could be Fatal
Guilty
Fury.
Gear, Mortal Kombat.
King of Fighters has some
nothing
cool
like
designs,
that.
though.
For the most part, those games have pretty normal, consistent.
I can't get into it because there's like a gajillion fucking fighting games that make up King of Fighters.
Can I say something? This is a weird pet peeve
There's
of
King of
mine.
Fighters, there's Fatal Fury, there's Psycho Soldier.
But I've had this problem with current, like, anime fighters, or more or less just Guilty Gear, of making the characters look too normal, if you get my drift. Like, they're giving them very normalish clothes, and all I can think of, but that takes away the draw from it. There's some of their outlandish looks. That takes away from it. If you take away the cool outfits, the strange and unusual designs, what do you have left? Like,
Who looks at Guilty Gear and thinks, man, these designs are bland.
no, I mean the newer ones, because compared to the older ones, they look a lot more bland.
I don't follow Guilty Gear. I only know the memes.
They're basically wearing hoodies, normal clothing now. Anyway. Like, if you're gonna do it, at least go outlandish with it, you know? Like, make your character stand out. Be silly about it, either way. I don't think I'd ever make a fighting game, but I do know a friend who is. Tyr, the plushy wolf, is working hard on his own fighting game, and I wish him well. His character designs look interesting. And I hope he succeeds, but I have no idea if that's gonna turn
And
out well.
understandable top tier.
This guy looks
that don't
crazy.
really fit into what we're
I kind of
looking
like him, though.
Oh, Zero's top tier again.
Oh yeah, there was...
You don't?
I forgot, in King of Fighters, there's basically one character that was a reference to Akira. They took him out eventually because he was just a reference to Akira, and they kind of didn't want to get copyright, so they changed it in the newest one to make him more mechanical.
Fucking say. No, we're going through the...
Well, now you ruined the last
games
part of the video. Thanks a
we might
lot.
have ever
Wait, what?
heard of, or never
He was the
known
last
that
part of
seems
this.
dedicated
Wait, I learned
Wait, no.
about that at some point.
Wait. No. Different.
enough
That was
to
Fighting
find
Game
out
1
what
and
the
done.
top tiers even
Okay.
They all blend together. Sorry.
Oh my god. Calm down. Calm down.
Never.
First subject is
It's
rather
fighting games.
recent.
You need to calm down.
As in, like, last
Never.
time recent. If
Go
you
full
think we're
blast.
done talking
I need to
about
play
Sparking
Sparking Zero.
You're wrong.
I need to get the
Arena
game
fighters
first.
have
I don't.
never been taken seriously
I do like some of
as
the designs
real
in
fighting
this, though.
games, with
Like some of the
more
big
lending
metal-
Xenoverse kind of
more to unbalanced
it was,
rosters
burned me
and
out on
janky
Dragon Ball
mechanics
I understand
that
that.
turn
And I
away
know
the
it's a
hardcore
completely different
fighting
game, but-
community. The dream of seeing an Ultimate Ninja Storm game main stage Evo is little
non-existent.
but that doesn't mean that communities haven't pushed the issue and tried to get an arena fighter to that next level.
Yeah.
Even if they're weighted towards canonical
We
balance
keep pausing to a
over
minimum. I
fair
still need to get
balance.
groceries in almost 30 minutes.
Okay, well, don't worry. We'll stop near that part and then we'll do the same thing we did before.
That doesn't mean
Well, then
these aren't still games
then I have
with
a
a
stream.
lot of mechanical
Alright.
depth that deserve exploration. That they can't have interesting metas that fit their
Yeah.
unique mechanics, and you can't turn what's designed as a sandbox into Normandy Beach. The largest community before
This is
Sparking
true.
Zero
Yeah.
was, naturally, the previous Dragon Ball Z arena fighter,
Um,
Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
My
The
favorite.
scene for this game was and still is
Wow, this was
very
actually
large
at,
and well-defined.
This is actually a
With
fighting
Discord
game?
servers
Cool.
And forums discovering tons and tons of tech and movement options.
That's
The
cool.
top tiers are the usual suspects. Perfect Cell, Vegito, Gogeta,
Broly.
But the jank that this game is rife with actually lifts certain characters to levels of playability that
Oh.
make them shocking to see so high. If you
Really?
are looking for characters to cut from one of these Dragon Ball arena fighters, near the top would have to be Super Trunks.
Oh, 'cause he's
His
slow.
buffed-up form from his first fight with Cell.
Also because he was around for like
Super
a
attacks
minute.
are always
Yeah.
underwhelming. Seeing as the form barely fought in the original series, he's
Yeah.
left with recycled Trunks moves like the Burning Attack and Finish
Yeah, he
Buster.
obviously wouldn't have a
Would
lot.
you like Ball or Spicy Ball?
Spicy
You have an
ball.
unnamed
Burning
super
Attack.
explosion wave as an ultimate. That's a dog whistle that they didn't give a shit about this character. Not just
Yeah.
that, but he's a really bad character to play as well.
Makes sense.
He's super slow, combos
That's
poorly.
canonically.
And while the increased damage is nice, the speed of your combos turns reaction windows into reaction chasms.
God
so
damn.
he's not cool, not strong, and not good competitively. So then why is he so often seen in high-level BT3? Well,
Oh.
as a super transformation, Super Trunks starts the round with an additional bar of energy.
Oh,
These
that's
characters
why.
Get 2, Super
Yep.
Trunks gets 3.
Ah,
You
yeah,
know
that
who
makes
would
sense.
really appreciate that extra bar?
Everyone.
Base Trunks, one of the best characters in the game. That's right. Super Trunks is a top-tier character because you enter the match, get the extra bar of ki,
And then power
immediately
down.
transform down to base form.
Yeah.
This gives Base Trunks, the game's fastest character, with some
Really?
extra
He's the
tools like
fastest.
an explosive wave, wild
Apparently.
sense, and a tracking rush attack, an extra bar of ki to work with. Super Trunks is less of a character and more,
of a
piggy bank
D
that Trunks
transformation,
breaks on
yeah.
the ground at the beginning of a round, and a
Yeah.
ki bar he's not supposed to have. Believe it or not, that means that when it comes time to put the entire roster into a tier list, Base Trunks actually scores higher than Super Saiyan Trunks.
Damn.
The two are practically the same character, save for a minor damage buff with Super Saiyan Trunks.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, one starts with 3 bars, and the other starts with 2. Base
yeah.
is better. But he wouldn't be better if it weren't for Super Trunks.
Yeah.
Mentioning Base Trunks as the fastest character in the game, there's somebody else who you would expect to have the edge in this discussion, but is just barely edged out. And just like Trunks, he's also in discussion for one of the best characters in the game. It's already great that any
And
individual
Ginyu?
Ginyu Force
Of
member
course,
is
it's
better than the
Captain
rest,
Ginyu.
But when one of those
Yeah.
No, it
members is
isn't.
in the running
Wait, what?
for the best character
Fastest in
in
the universe,
it
baby!
starts getting ridiculous.
Really?
Birder is completely specced into speed.
It's what made Meta
He
Knight
is
good.
the fastest in the universe, after all.
Speed.
But in a game like BT3, that's less min-maxing
And more just-
more max-maxing.
Yeah.
Birder's speed gives him the fastest melee starter in the game.
God
A
damn.
huge range to boot, given how big he is. The ability to change.
He really
his
is the
fighting range
fastest
at a
in the
moment's
universe
notice,
now.
and follow up off of usually unsafe moves. A huge
Yeah.
part of BT3's metagame is about positioning, and Birder's speed makes him a
And
crazy
size.
good flanker.
I never
The
would
best
have realized
place to be in this
Birder of all
game is
people.
behind the opponent, since it massively limits their defensive options, and Birder can get behind them with no issues.
God
On
damn.
top of that, his utility and super moves are all great, with after image to avoid damage, a power up to the max to get him to his ultimate
God
instantly,
damn.
a strong energy blast, and a good
Yep.
rush means he's not really at a loss to do anything.
This is
Even
crazy.
against characters with persistent super armor, namely Broly, Birder can't break that, but he sure can piss his pants.
What?
He simply can't catch Birder, which
Oh.
makes Birder able to pick when the fight starts.
Yeah.
Actually, funny to mention Broly because, like I said, he is one of the best characters in the game.
Yeah.
His physical strength is through the roof. His key attacks are deceptively good. And most importantly, he has super armor. And how super armor works in BT3 is actually really interesting. The canonical strength of your character is proportionate to how many hits it will take to break the super armor.
Ooh.
So Goku would take about 4, Super Saiyan Goku would take 3, Super Saiyan 2 Goku would take 2, and Super Saiyan 3 Goku breaks it instantly.
Of course,
Of
makes
course,
sense.
if we're talking about canonical strength, there's only one character that sits at the
Gogeta,
top and
level
can break any
Super
amount
Saiyan
of super
4.
armor, no matter what.
Makes
A
sense.
gag character.
Oh!
Arale, from
Really?
Akira Toriyama's previous work, Dr. Slump,
Oh for
and
two.
number one cause of kids
well,
saying, who the fuck is
I
Arale?
don't do who. Yeah, no, not a lot of people know about Raleigh. I only learned about Raleigh
I
because
read Dr. Slump.
I didn't. Anyway, I learned about Raleigh because she showed up in Dragon Ball Z Super somehow, and just started having a fight with Goku and Vegeta until Beerus showed up and killed a ghost. I'm not elaborating further on that because I don't know what else I can say to what I just said.
You don't need to elaborate. I saw the episode.
No, I mean to our audience. Yeah, some of them might not know who this is for obvious reasons.
Ale, when they play Budokai Tenkaichi 3, is
Yeah.
actually a really good character in this game.
Isn't she
She's
a robot?
small, fast, and
Yep.
deceptively strong. Her combos and blast 2s both do way too much damage for a character this hard to catch.
'Cause
And
she's
of
so small
course, whether
and
it
fast.
be Broly or a giant character, Arale breaks super armor with no issue.
Damn.
Listen, you read Dr. Slump and you find out this is her taking it easy on everybody.
Oh.
Of course,
Yep.
being a character
She
from
broke
the
the
Dragon
Earth?
Ball side of things rather than the Dragon Ball
Casually.
Z side of things means she
Uh.
has two major weaknesses. A lack of mobility because she can't fly, and a lack
Yeah.
of ability to get in easily because she can't use ki blasts.
Makes sense.
Regardless, she is easily one
Then
of,
just stay
if
off the
not
ground.
best character from the
And hit her with ki
Dragon Ball
blasts.
side of things. And we'll see her way into plenty of competitive matches based on how well she interacts with the really strong characters.
Alright.
Now, this is all very interesting, but
I am
wasn't this
glad,
supposed to be about
basically,
Sparking
Budokai is
Zero?
back.
Well, the reason I wanted to cover
Sparking
these three
Zero.
before this was, well, because it was actually interesting.
Oh.
And as for the Sparking Zero characters, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Dr. Giro and Android 19.
Of
Now,
course.
in the grand scheme of Dragon Ball, Dr. Giro is
Oh,
very
he
important.
crushes
He's
someone's
the overarching
neck.
villain of a fan-favorite saga. He ties
Yeah,
back
the
into
Cell
lore
Saga.
of the original
Or the
Dragon
Android
Ball,
Saga, whatever
and
you
even
wanna call it.
today With Android 21,
There
the
are
Gammas,
there are so many people that love Android 21. And for exact reasons you thinking of. Don't get me wrong, she has a great design.
Yeah.
But, actually, I don't know what else to add to that. She's hot. She's like the only... I want to say this. She's the only Dragon Ball character that I consider hot. That's true. That's just a thing. I don't know. A lot of the guys and girls just don't, you know. Actually, no. Videl. Also Videl.
And to Cell Max, his influence is
I had to
still
think
there.
about it for a second.
And Android 19 was to the right of him.
To the right of him.
These two have always stunk.
He was.
As androids, they
He always
can't charge
was.
Key, and instead have to either wait to charge up.
I will say the
moves
voice
or fight.
for Android
These
19
two
is
are unique
always
among the
grating.
Androids, though, for their energy-draining grabs,
Beep.
which allow them to steal not only an opponent's
Okay.
health but their Key, which
Oh,
gives them
yeah.
a shortcut to get to their good moves. Regardless of how interesting the gimmick is, the two of them have never been impressive to play as, and bottom out at the top of D tier when it comes to competitive play.
Makes sense?
Maybe feeling bad for the pair, or perhaps feeling a duty to balance out how much people would enjoy Sparking Zero, Jiro and 19 were tweaked to make them insufferable.
No.
Jiro and 19 can't automatically gather Key past the first two bars.
Alright.
But those first two bars fill up faster than any other character.
Dear
in the
God, they
game.
give him some lot of
And
new
they swing
attacks.
around with a whopping
That's kinda
4
cool.
of them. Remember how big a deal it was when Super Trunks
Yeah.
got 3? As if that Key wasn't enough, their grabs
I
have
really
seen a
should play
huge
this game.
update.
But
With
first
their
I need to
damage
buy
now
it.
matching the throws of
Because I
giant
loved
characters,
Budokai, the Budokai
dealing
series.
4,000 damage to most characters, 1750.
God
This throw
damn.
also steals 3,000 health and up to 2 bars of Ki.
Oh,
and
that's
adds
bull.
it to the android's own.
Oh, they can also
don't
steal
have to
the
waste
key
any
attacks.
on dragon dashes, since they don't cost anything on those last
That's
two
dirty.
bars.
That's
This is a trait
dirty.
unique to android characters and makes
Yeah.
them really good at running away. If you do manage to get close to them, it's not like you can do much, because they have the Blast 1, False Courage.
Oh.
This gives the androids super armor on up to 4 physical attacks.
Damn.
And in the time the opponent is trying to break the armor, the androids can set up for a grab and drain nearly half a health bar.
Yeah,
And
that's not
since
good.
False Courage only costs 1 blast stock, and you get
False
6
Courage
returning
is a really good
console
name
on,
for an ability.
Jiro and 19 can spam this skill for the entire match,
Yep.
and put themselves in a constant state of super armor. All of these factors bundled together have made these two menaces for anybody who dares to play this game online. Especially
Damn.
given the two's incredibly low Dragon Point rating. Which
Dragon
means
Point?
that on a team where you have 15 Dragon Points to work with, they can be slapped onto any team to act as annoying heaters.
Ooh.
This would be one thing. But Bandai Namco has made the critical mistake of thinking they made a good game with Sparking Zero.
What?
And wanted everybody to see what high-level Sparking Zero gameplay looks like.
Oh no, they
The
should have
Dramatic
tweaked it.
Showdown tournament is a 16-person Sparking Zero tournament that's holding its qualifiers right now all over the world.
Huh.
With
Okay.
France having the most interesting ones so far.
Really?
As to the untrained eye, it's promotion for how Sparking Zero sucks.
See, well, we're starting out here. We're flying around for a bit.
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
Shiryu versus Silliest are the grand finals to determine who is
What are they doing? This is boring. This is the same problem that they need to tweak the characters. This is literally showing it.
If you have attack
Decrease
power, I'm
speed.
running as much time as I can. I'm running. I'm not fighting. I don't know. I don't know.
This is all they're doing?
Yeah, we're swapping out. More sick. What?
Yep.
We're doing it again.
Oh no. I still want to play the game.
These guys,
So,
these guys are like,
as people know, I usually play more single player than I do multiplayer games. So this isn't really that much of a problem for me. So yeah.
it's 1 a.m. in France already? Okay, bet. We go until 2 a.m.
This is gonna be going on for a while, isn't it?
I have some questions. I really
How long
Yep.
does the match allowed to go on for?
Yeah, so...
Just hit each other.
Your day, Jake.
It's been great, man. I really,
The announcers are just talking to each other now.
hang out with my son a little bit later.
Yeah.
We're watching all of Dragon Ball. So it's been a treat.
They cut away from gameplay during Grand Finals. Remember how I said that Dragon Rushes
well,
don't
I hope
cost
it gets
anything
better.
on those last 2 bars? Well, Android players will abuse this fact, and if push comes to grab, time the opponent out by repeatedly ascending and descending until the round ends. This is a
That's
popular tactic in
awful.
online battles and unpopular
Yeah.
with the entire player base. 19 and 20 are able to get a small health advantage, then infinitely ascend and descend, avoiding attacks and making the game go to a timeout. Where the player with
That's
the
so
most health
boring.
wins.
Okay, I'm never playing those
Technically, it's the
characters.
health that he stole to make his hierarchy
Wait, have
be
you played this
tied.
game?
To see this strategy used
No.
in an official Bandai Namco live
I will at some
stream was
point.
a massive embarrassment. To the
Yeah.
point they even revoked these two players' invites to the dramatic showdown tournament.
I can understand
Should
that.
these guys have been punished for playing so lame? Yes, but
Yes.
we'll leave that to God. They broke no rules set out by the tournament organizers.
Yes,
and
but I
now
feel
miss out on
like-
the chance to win big. It's entirely Bandai Namco's fault for allowing these two to have a gameplay style like this. Not
Yeah.
listening to the fan base, who has been very loudly disapproving and showcasing that this is a dominant strategy, and then hosting a tournament without taking this into account.
Yeah, you
This
always
was
should
meant
listen
to
to the
showcase
fans when it
competitive
comes to
Sparking
criticism
Zero,
on
and
gameplay
like
like
it or
this.
not, it did
Especially if it's a
exactly
lot of
that.
them.
Rarely has a character's playstyle been so unfun to watch that it gets a player in trouble. But it can't be said that it's not optimal. They were both doing this.
Yeah.
Right now, as top tiers, 19 and 20
Hopefully
are
they do
casting a
change it.
huge cloud of doom over Sparking Zero's competitive scene.
I just
Which
really
is
want
really
one of these
bad
good
news
Dragon
for
Ball
Bandai
games again to
Namco,
play.
Since they, for some reason, want that to be a thing. And because, heaven forbid, a boy have fun, they just patched a lot of these issues
Mm-hmm.
to address the androids, while still keeping large chunks of their game plan unchanged.
Okay,
If
that's
anything,
good.
It seems like they're going to have to spam false courage and grabs for much longer now, which does add a window of time for the opponent to counterplay, but we're just gonna have to wait and see if this makes like a 17 and kills off Jiro. Shrek!
Oh.
Or as you may not know him as, the star of Shrek. I don't
What the
think I
hell?
really need to introduce
What was
the
that?
idea of what a Shrek is. If you were
Shrek.
alive at all in the early
Oh
2000s through to now, you know who Shrek is.
Yeah.
DreamWorks' crown jewel film franchise, who stayed alive despite no new
It's
movies
crazy how
in
long
over a
Shrek has
decade
stayed
and a half,
alive.
Thanks to his presence in online culture. As someone who was most
Yeah.
into meme culture around 2014 through 2016, I can tell you this green bastard was everywhere. In videos, in images, in Twinkies. The internet
Wait,
was
what?
enchanted
Really?
Yeah, I would
by
not-
Shrek, and
I wouldn't
for the
eat
love
that.
of me, I
No, I wouldn't eat a green Twinkie. It looks disgusting. Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good, I'm just checking. You're not saying much, so I get a bit worried.
It's just that I've already seen this video a few times.
Ah, okay. Well, I haven't seen this.
That
What the-
said, this is easily the stupidest thing in the video, in my opinion. And yes, I know what the final one in this video is.
Oh boy, well I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna go through most of these videos because, I'll be honest, I didn't know much about Bumble McFumbles before we started this. Other than you were saying we should watch his videos. So, if you guys want to thank
Yeah,
anyone for me getting into these videos, it's Medica right over here. Help him by, I don't know, following him over on Twitch.
I accept PayPal and head pats.
I give him plenty head pats. I did during the time we were in VR. Anyway.
Still
It was
can't
good.
really tell where it came from. Of
Yeah.
course, there's an irony
There were a
to
lot of
it,
people
but
there.
ironic enjoyment over a sustained period like this is gonna eventually lead to you slipping up and genuinely enjoying something. I don't
Okay.
think any part of the Shrek fandom really exemplifies this quality more than Shrek Super Slam. Shrek
I
video
forgot
games
this was a
were
thing.
Super common back when the films were still coming out.
I think about it sometimes.
Most movies would
I
get
really don't.
a game. Shrek got too many.
Yes, he
Of
did.
course, the game's meant to tie into the movies, the different versions of those same games across different consoles,
Yeah.
handheld games, the educational games,
Educational?
PS1 and Xbox Live Arcade games, which
PS1?
is so anachronistic it makes my head hurt. Shrek DVD bingo? I'm starting to think that making Shrek games was a cover for something illegal.
Maybe.
Then there were the attempts to make fully fledged console games
Oh, yeah, the
independent of any
racing.
existing Shrek story, like Shrek Smash and Crash and Shrek Super Party. Each of these served their own purpose, like Shrek Super Party, testing when enough was enough. And they each saw a little resurgence in popularity when Shrek memedom was in full gear. However, Shrek Super Slam is a whole different beast, merging Shrek fans and fighting game fans into some sort of untested chemical weapon. The game, upon its initial release, got stunning reviews from Baby Me, as I enjoyed pressing the button that made Shrek go up, but the game largely faded away into obscurity for a long time.
Yeah.
Fast forward to that Shrek boom I mentioned, and the game is rediscovered. And
Really?
the slapping that followed was raucous. Oh my god, a Shrek fighting game? How silly!
Yeah.
Oh man, Shrek should main stage Evo. Oh man, I'm
Please tell me that
setting
didn't
aside the
happen.
local so we can play
No.
Shrek.
Oh, thank God.
What the f was that? Yeah, the scene around Shrek Super Slam at first was just a joke. People
Good.
comparing the Shrek Smash clone to Smash. Power Stone Erasure is real. But then things got serious.
Yeah.
It turns out
I never heard of
engine
Power
and
Stone until a
movement
friend
were loose
brought it up
enough
to me.
to allow for a lot of interesting stuff. Unintended tech in fighting games has existed for a long time.
Yeah.
Be it wave dashing in Melee or roll canceling in CVS2. But when it comes to Shrek, there's a whole other game's worth of complexity hidden in there. Trumpet dashing is when you cancel out the ending lag of your air dash with a shield, opening you up to be able to attack right out of it.
This has a little
and
too
get
much
across the
mechanics for
stage
being a
with
Shrek
speed.
game.
Swoosing is a jump dash canceled with a shield. And
Not that it has
immediately
mechanics, it's
followed
that
up by
it
another
breaks
jump.
moving just the right way.
And onion boosting is
Oh.
a tech used by characters who can jump after a
Onion
high wall
boosting?
attack that lets you jump out of it to
You heard
maintain
me.
momentum.
You heard him.
And
Oh my
since
God.
that doesn't use your air dash or double jump, can be chained together with those to allow you to crumpet dash or
Crumpet
swoops.
dash?
Then you get into more combat stuff like grab cancels,
Yep.
anti-air punishes,
Oh my
anti-air
God,
loops,
why am I here?
infinites. There is so much more to this game than meets the eye. And of course, in a game like this, with so much stuff in it,
Maybe they
where
should have
only
made an
certain
actual
characters
game.
Get certain stuff. There had to be one character that can do it better than anybody else.
Alright.
There are characters like Gingerbread Man, the Black Knight, and Fiona who put it all together, but when it comes to the best of the bunch, well, that's little Red Riding Hood. Red Riding
Really?
Hood is the devil of Shrek Super
Yep.
Slam. You can stack the best character in any other aspect up against Hood, and Hood wins. Strength, Hood wins.
Oh.
Speed, Hood wins. Combo, Hood wins.
She was barely
There
in
is
any of the
nothing in
movies.
game she can't do. So what is it about Hood that makes her so much more dominant than the rest of the cast?
Yeah.
Well, for starters, she has access to the universal mechanics that most characters do. Namely the shield cancels, crumpet dashes, and swooses.
Oh, she
The
gets
only
all
thing
that.
she doesn't have access to is onion boosting, but she doesn't need it. There are, however, some tricks that Little Red Riding Hood and a few other characters are alone in possessing. See, grabs in Shrek Super Slam can be shield cancelled like aerials.
Okay.
And when you cancel them, that leaves the enemy prone for a second as they tumble back to the ground. In that time, you're able to grab them again for a chain grab that only ends when you decide it does.
Oh.
The cancel can also be chained into your anti-air.
I
which
can't
in
believe
Shrek
how
Super
much
Slam
effort is
the
going
most
into a Shrek video game. What the hell am I watching? Like,
Swoosing, pay attention.
This is combos for a Shrek video game.
character's best tool. Hood especially gets a lot out of it, as her anti-air is an infinite with itself. If she hits you once, there's nothing you can do, as you're left in the air, juggled without a hope for escape. That means you lose the game on the spot, as the longer Hood keeps you in the air with her anti-air, the more slam she accrues. And once she gets a full slam bar, she can use her slam move, which is what gets her a point. And at the end of the round, the player with the most points wins.
Alright.
As we like to call it, the player who picked Hood wins. Two
Wonderful.
other
Yeah.
characters, Luna and the Cyclops, also have anti-air infinites, but Cyclops stinks, and Luna isn't Hood, so the choice is clear.
Oh my
But
God.
in case you find that infinite too hard to understand, don't worry.
I find all of
Hood
this hard to
has two
understand.
infinites that both branch off of her grab. If you cancel the grab and then hit the opponent with a semi-charged apple, which is her special move, they'll be stunned long enough for you to grab them, cancel the grab, throw another apple. Repeat until real-world violence is employed. The air loop takes some level of technical skill to pull off.
Dear
To let
God.
you know how easy the apple loop is, I can do it. And that slam
Oh.
of hers, completely busted. A massive tornado
Sounds
that
like it.
draws in anybody nearby.
Ah.
Which they will be because you just slammed them onto the floor without mercy.
Yeah.
That apple special, by the way, isn't just for setting up infinites. It's so powerful that it allows for those combo setups to happen at full screen.
Dear
Any one of
God.
the apple's hits, that gives her enough time to make it all the way across the
I-
stage and
wow.
get you into one of her infinites. Without even crumpet dashing, just walking like a fucking commoner. If you watch the few competitive clips of her that exist, you can see that all Hood has to do in order to dominate from the outset is just throw apples around, because the stun you get off of them can convert into a grab. So
This
she
is-
controls the entire screen just with a basic
There's so
move.
much effort put
But
into
wait,
this
why
game.
are there
I
so
don't
few
know
clips of
why.
competitive Hood? She sounds like she's completely busted,
people want-
so how is she not in every single clip?
Yeah.
Simple, really? You can't play as her.
What?
Red Riding Hood is so strong and so overwhelming to fight that Shrek Super Slam tournaments have just
Banned her. Makes
They'd
sense.
rather remove the option to ever even encounter her than think about dealing with her. One instance that
Yeah.
made the case for banning her all on its own is this infamous clip between Shrek players Toon and Dan Soup. Dan Soup had been playing the game for years at this point and was considered one of the best players.
Alright.
Toons, meanwhile, had never played the game before showing up to the venue.
Ah.
Dan picked Big Bad Wolf, Toons picked Hood. The mugging that Dan was subject to following that choice was so bad, so one-sided, and so humiliating.
Yeah, I
he
can
dropped
see
the set,
why.
left the tournament, and quit the game forever.
Makes sense.
How exactly do I know about this infamous story out of the Super Slam scene? That's because I was at this tournament,
Really?
and I was playing for the first time. That's
Oh.
right. Toons was me.
Really? That's not true, I'm lying. Okay.
As the metagame has developed, the community has experimented for brief moments on reintroducing Hood into the ecosystem, with a few characters like Gingerbread Man being considered kinda close to her level. Nowadays, it's really a matter of the tournament organizer's trauma as to whether or not Hood is playable at any given event. Now that
Trauma.
the Super Slam scene is much quieter after its heyday in the late 2010s.
I'm not
it's hard
surprised.
to reach a consensus, but with other top tiers like Black Knight having counterplay options, she's seen as probably ban-worthy, but it's Shrek Super Slam.
No one
Are we really gonna
cares.
be narcs about this? But we're thinking too small,
Alright.
Jero. Hood, these are pipsqueaks. Let's go bigger. Despite being one of the greatest actors
Okay.
working in our time, Godzilla
Charles
video
Barkley.
games in America and even the world over are kinda sparse.
Yeah.
There's a good amount of them.
I'm
in
glad
the
we
early
have
days of the
Giga
NES
Bash.
and Super Nintendo, but you move on to the PlayStation 1, Xbox 360.
There's not a
PS4 and
lot that many
onwards.
Godzilla games
Godzilla
out there.
has a shockingly small lineup of games.
Yeah, it's
And
kinda
even less
strange.
that are the fighting games you'd want to see. When you're not looking at them as symbols of a post-war Japan putting a face to the tragedy that no other nation has ever had to face, that is ultimately overcome not with might but with an ingenuity and work ethic that is central to the Japanese cultural identity, before eventually embracing that same symbol as a part of that same Japanese cultural identity, Godzilla movies are all about big monsters hitting each other with drop kicks.
Yeah.
Now, traditional fighting games aren't exactly what Godzilla is fit for.
True.
It's a cool idea, and games like Kaiju Daikessen have proven it has legs, but it doesn't feel exactly how I want a Godzilla game to play.
What do you
I
mean?
want environmental destruction. I want
Understandable.
tag team fights. I want something that this simply can't provide. Luckily for
Okay.
us, though, the gringos aren't all bad when it comes to making
Which one is
Godzilla
this?
stuff, and in stepped Atari and Pipeworks. to make Godzilla destroy all monsters.
Ah,
melee.
this one. I haven't gotten to
This
play.
isn't the right melee tournament. The first console Godzilla game released in America since 1993, Destroy All Monsters is a game that is made with a love
I can't
for the
remember his
genre
name.
that few games get. It takes its jabs at the cheesiness of the older movies, but doesn't look
Good.
down on them. The goofy Showa-era movies
Ah,
are just as much a part of
Anguirus.
Godzilla's legacy as anything else.
There's the Godzilla wiki
And anybody who
videos.
tries to ignore them just to put the focus on his prestige pieces like Shin Godzilla, 54, and Godzilla -1 doesn't get Godzilla. It shows in every second of gameplay how in tune the developers were with what kaiju fans really wanted.
That's great.
To run through cities, mowing through buildings, and throwing the remains.
Throw
watching the
King
UFOs drop
Ghidorah-
power-ups and
Ghidorah.
interfere with the match. It captures the best of the Showa era really well.
Nice.
Now, don't get that twisted as this game being good.
Oh.
It's far from polished and as jank as all get out. But that all gets made up for by the
Megalon.
feeling of getting to watch two monsters hit each other really hard. There's a charm
Everyone
to
loves
it that doesn't make up for the flaws with the game, but rather makes you much more forgiving of them.
Get 'em.
The novelty of the game is just too great for me to be able to think critically about it. It's just fun enough that I can laugh along with what the game screws up. One of those things the game screws up at, though, is balance, because the divide between the best and worst characters is an order of magnitudes. In fact, the best characters can usually just
Let me
flat
see,
out
who is it?
negate whatever gimmick the bad characters have. And quite fittingly, one of the best characters in the game
King Ghidorah.
is the king of the monsters. Well, the trademark says otherwise. King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Introduced in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster in 1964.
The space
Ghidorah
alien
has been
monster.
one of the most popular and commonly reoccurring
Who for some reason
kaijus
fought
that
Zone
Godzilla
Fighter.
has ever thrown down with. He's just as iconic as the other heavy hitters of the genre.
Yeah,
and
he's one of the
maybe
big
second
four,
most
or
iconic
big three.
kaiju next to Godzilla himself. And is
Yeah.
a generationally petty bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, so Godzilla's a bad guy in this movie. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to be a good guy. 'Cause
It was
I'd
so
rather
weird.
Be dead than on the same side as that prick. Look at him, bum-ass dad with his stupid little eyes. Fuck you.
Ghidorah in
We don't
this
talk
game
about
is Zoner
him.
Supreme. His tools to keep
Why
the
not?
opponent
I did an
in the
entire
exact
spear
range he
presentation on
wants
that.
are
Really?
insane. First off
Yeah.
is his wind gust, which blows enemies to the other side of the stage.
Goddamn.
Which, in a game where grabs are the main damage dealer, is a really good thing. Speaking
Yeah, already sounds broken considering he can just play the keep away game. Does he have his lightning? I bet he has his lightning.
Yeah,
It's
they're called
like
gravity beams.
I know they're called gravity beams. I just forget to call them that all the time because I just see them as lightning because they're lightning shooting from a three-headed dragon. I will say, kaiju always
That's
have a
nice.
variance in terms of design. What'd you say?
That's nice, hun.
Oh my god. We know too much kaiju lore at this point. Well, Medica is full of all kinds of lore that I'm not even sure. I don't look in the memory banks. Either way.
of which, Ghidorah's grab is really good.
Ooh.
It's long-reaching, strong, and can send the opponent just as far as his wind gust.
Oh,
His ability to
goddamn.
fly gives him exceptional mobility, since he can dodge over the buildings that can get in your way and slow down your approach.
He's
while
grabbing
keeping
with
him
both-
clear of grabs.
Oh, with two heads.
But we haven't even talked about what makes Ghidorah so deadly yet, and those
His gravity
are his
beams.
beam attacks.
You're not
You have
so
the grounded
overpowered. I'd
charge
beat them.
beam, which has ridiculous spread given how it fires
But
out
still.
of all three mouths. But when he's in the air,
I would smash my
game
controller
over.
because,
Ghidorah's aerial beam is so fast and so
So Mechagodzilla resists sharp damage.
Okay.
Mechagodzilla is the final boss of the game, which means that the alien UFOs will only be attacking you. I was
Ah.
playing Gigan. How many attacks do you think Gigan has that aren't fucking sharp?
One.
It's not a lot. It's like one or two.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Gigan, rise! Anyway, back to it, I would say.
strong. It's the reason you pick up the character. Any other character
He's even destroying
would kill
Destroyer.
for a projectile this good. and Ghidorah's whole game plan revolves around it.
Ooh.
Anyone who tries to counter-zone him with anything from buildings to their own charged beam doesn't stand a chance, because as soon as you go for it, Ghidorah's in the air and ready to strike. The trade-off is that both flying and your beam use up meter, so you can only keep it up for so long. But luckily for Ghidorah, he has a built-in answer with his dive kick. Usable while flying, doesn't use meter, and can either end in a land to help
he even
build up
takes
meter,
down
or go straight back to flying for a follow-up. As for actual weaknesses, his melee damage is only okay. He lacks a fast projectile option on the ground with no tap fire attack, which is just when you tap the beam button instead of charging it. Godzilla gets a fireball, while Ghidorah gets hit with a fireball. And he is incredibly meter hungry. You need to be able to time out your flights and beam usage pretty smartly if you want to win with Ghidorah. Overall, he's a very powerful zoner, and in a game where your close-up options are usually how you're winning games, it makes him a very powerful character and one of the game's best.
Makes sense.
So imagine if they made him even better.
Oh, Mecha King Ghidorah!
You thought this section was about Ghidorah? I don't blame you, since I've been talking about him so much, and...
I've beaten this one, that one too.
I think I saw you beat this. I think I was on the stream.
I've never played this on stream.
Oh no, it wasn't you. It was my friend Shamanic. He was playing this on
You might be
stream.
thinking about the time I played Godzilla Unleashed,
It's possible.
which is the third game in the series that has the most characters and is probably the worst of them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I heard it's on Wii and it's not very good.
It's mediocre on Wii.
Damn.
The real issue is they changed up how health and energy works.
Oof. It's that doesn't sound good. Yeah, but
Health is now a series of blocks that you have to drain and land a heavy attack to actually empty that block.
I will say that
There is no energy.
one thing that I kind of wish that they brought back Mecha King Ghidorah in some of the later movies for, damn it, what the Legend movies, the Legendary, because they are actually pretty good movies. I need to watch the rest of them, but yeah, maybe I'll do that later. They're really good.
It is about King Ghidorah, but not that King Ghidorah. No.
Mecha King Ghidorah.
About Mecha King Ghidorah.
The one with the most complicated plot.
Introduced in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah from 1991, Mecha King Ghidorah is Ghidorah after a nasty run-in with Godzilla left him down a pair of wings and a head.
Yeah.
Earth Defense Forces scooped him up, outfitted him with some armor, and tossed him back out for round 2. Whatever the hell they built this guy out of clearly isn't what they built their tanks out of, because this guy is a menace.
Dear Lord.
Alright, so now that he's been roboticized, Sonic style, there are a few buffs and debuffs that come with it.
I always thought Mecha King Ghidorah was kind of cool, because he's more of a cyborg than anything else.
Armor against light attacks. If you're not going for a grab or a heavy attack, Ghidorah won't so much as flinch. Just make a metal tink sound whenever you amuse him enough with your efforts. As well, Mecha King Ghidorah does get a tap fire attack, unlike basic Ghidorah.
Damn.
Because he's a mecha character, he's limited to only 3 per round. The tap fire are these little missiles that are honestly easier to read by keeping an eye on the enemy missile count than watching the screen, since they're so small and fast. And what happens after they land? Well, they deal a little bit of damage and stun you in place for a few good seconds.
Oh no.
And, drain your entire super meter.
What?
You can only do this 3 times a round, though. You can only slash 3 of their tires. See, it's
only slash 3 of their tires.
Fair and balanced, which this giant tin can certainly is not. There has to be something at least resembling a downside.
Yeah.
And there is. See, in return for that immunity to all physical damage, Ghidorah has a glaring weakness.
That is?
As a mecha character, that resistance to hit stun is offset by a huge weakness to beam attacks, as they deal twice the damage they would to any other character. Given how Ghidorah is the anti-zoner zoner,
yeah,
this should already be obviously not enough. But what if I told you they had failed so badly at balancing this guy, You actually want to get hit with beams.
What?
See, it's a pretty steep cost to take double damage. So in return, Ghidorah has a special shield. A shield that costs meter to use.
Alright.
A shield that negates all beam damage. A shield that actively heals Ghidorah when he's being shot with a beam.
What?
Only real weakness can be converted into free health as long as he's blocking.
What? Did someone
It
just
costs
really love
meter,
Mecha King
sure, but
Ghidorah?
This is Ghidorah we're talking about. Burning through meter comes with the territory. You should be expecting it.
What the hell?
Right. This is still the unstoppable zoner we're talking about. The one with the flying gravity beams, amazing grabs, and get-off-me tools that mean even getting to fail at hitting him is a challenge. With all of this and more, it's no surprise that Mecha King Ghidorah is...
Not good.
one
Or he's
of
the
best
best.
characters in the game.
One?
Yeah, even with all of that, Ghidorah
Three,
still
four,
doesn't make
three.
it to the top of the mountain.
Listen, I said the wrong thing once. Okay?
3 times.
Why are you counting?
Because it's funny.
I'm gonna poke you with this very long stick now. Gonna hit your antennas. Anyway. There.
No equilibrium! Destabilized!
Oh my god.
He's arguably there, but the fact that there's an argument at all shows just how cutthroat the meta for this game is.
I'm
You're
surprised
going up
there's a
against
meta.
Rodan, who's great at dodging meter and
Dude, this is like the
sneaking in for
only
grabs.
Godzilla fighting game we have.
Gorga,
Yeah, there aren't many. Unless you technically count Gigabash, because Godzilla is in there. Well, now through DLC.
Yes. And for a decade and a half, we didn't have Giga Bash. We had Destroy All Monsters Melee.
True.
who made grabs his entire personality.
Oh,
We got
yeah.
an Xbox copy.
Oh yeah, Orga. He's basically a weird clone of Godzilla that wanted to eat Godzilla and then got exploded by Godzilla.
Or like a basketball.
Also, he
and
ran
Tsukuyomi,
Tekkadan.
who doesn't really have any light moves for Ghidorah to tough guy through.
Oh.
Any one of these guys could have been the topic for this game, but I gave Mecha King Ghidorah the edge simply for how absurd his upgrades are. Nobody gets half the tools Ghidorah does, and the fact he's still not undisputed best tells you everything you need to know about the top tiers of this game.
Yeah.
Now let's take a second here to recognize the real heroes. And that's the people who are sitting there, arms crossed, scoffing and saying, "Pshaw, I knew all of these. I am the center point of the Venn diagram of Dragon Ball, Shrek, and Godzilla fighting game fans."
He's looking at you, Matt.
Just got real goddamn
Yeah.
here. The Nickelodeon Super Brawl
That
games
said,
are a
we'll have to
series
get back to Super Brawl later. Because for now, I gotta go get groceries.
All right.
And then participate in a VTuber games. Ah,
Alright.
fuck, a crick in my foot.
Have fun with that, and we'll see all of you later. So you all have fun.
Pain. I'll edit something.
Yep.
All right,
it's
see you.
fun. Later.